feeling sometimes. But underneath it all, there's a kind of emptiness you can't explain. What if that feeling isn't random? What if it's not weakness or failure or even burnout in the way you think? What if your soul is trying to tell you something and you've just been too busy to hear it? Because there are signs, quiet ones, that your inner life is running on empty. And most people don't recognize them until they're already exhausted. But today, that changes. By the end of this video, you'll be able to recognize 7 silent signals that your soul is drained, and more importantly, you'll understand what they're actually pointing to. Not more effort, not more pressure, but something deeper. Let's start here. Imagine 2 people living almost identical lives. They wake up at the same time, they go to work, they deal with stress, responsibilities, expectations. From the outside, they look the same, but internally, they're completely different. The first person is constantly pushing. They rely on discipline, willpower, and control. They tell themselves, I just need to stay strong. But if you look closely, they're always on edge, always tired, always one step away from snapping. The second person still faces pressure, still has responsibilities, still goes through hard days, but there's a steadiness in them. They're not rushing internally. They're not collapsing under stress. They're anchored. The difference isn't their schedule. It isn't their intelligence. It isn't even their circumstances. It's their source. One is running on internal reserves. The other is connected to something deeper. And here's the truth most people miss. Your soul was never designed to be self-sustaining. When you try to live that way, it starts sending signals. Not loud ones, not dramatic ones, quiet ones. Let's walk through them. Sign number 1. Feel constantly drained, even when you rest. You sleep, you take breaks, you try to recharge, but the exhaustion doesn't leave. Because this isn't physical tiredness, it's internal depletion. It's what happens when you keep giving without being refilled. Sign number 2. Everything feels heavier than it should. Simple tasks feel overwhelming. Small problems feel big. It's not that life suddenly got harder, it's that you're carrying it without support. When your soul is empty, even light things feel heavy. Sign number 3. You've lost your sense of joy. You still do things you used to enjoy, but they don't hit the same. The excitement is gone. The spark is missing. You're not necessarily sad, just flat, like life is happening in grayscale. Sign number 4. You're more reactive than usual. Little things irritate you. You get frustrated faster. You feel emotionally stretched thin. That's not just personality. That's overflow from an empty inner state. When there's no peace inside, pressure leaks out. Sign number 5. You feel disconnected, even in meaningful moments. You're with people you care about. You're in places that should matter. But something feels distant. Like you're present physically, but absent internally. That disconnect is a signal. Sign number 6. You're constantly striving, but nothing feels satisfying. You achieve things, you check boxes, you move forward, but there's no sense of arrival, no fulfillment, because external progress can't fill an internal void. And sign number 7, silence feels uncomfortable. The moment things get quiet, you reach for your phone. You look for noise, distraction, anything to fill the space. Because deep down, you don't want to face what's there. Now here's the part that matters most. These signs are not the problem. They are indicators. They are your soul's way of saying, I wasn't designed to run like this. Most people respond the wrong way. They try to fix the symptoms. More discipline, more productivity, more control. But that's like trying to fix a dying plant by painting the leaves green. It might look better for a moment, but nothing actually changes. because the issue isn't visible on the surface, it's at the root. There's a moment in Scripture, in John chapter 15, where Jesus explains this with surprising clarity. He says, "I am the vine, you are the branches." It's simple, but it changes everything. Think about what that means. A branch doesn't produce life on its own. It doesn't generate energy. It doesn't create nutrients. It receives. Its entire role is connection. The moment that connection is broken, the branch doesn't struggle. It slowly dries out. That's what many people are experiencing internally. Not collapse, not failure, disconnection. And here's where it gets practical. You don't fix this by trying harder. You fix this by reconnecting. Think about your phone. When your battery drops to 5%, you don't start optimizing apps or lowering brightness forever. At some point, you plug it in, because no amount of adjustment replaces a power source. Your soul works the same way. And this is where everything begins to shift. Not through pressure, but through realignment. Instead of living from your own limited reserves, you start living from connection. That looks like small, consistent shifts, not dramatic changes, just intentional reconnection throughout your day. Instead of reacting to everything, you pause and ground yourself in truth. Instead of treating prayer like a scheduled task, you turn it into an ongoing conversation. Instead of forcing outcomes, you focus on staying aligned. And slowly, something changes. The heaviness starts to lift. Not because life got easier, but because you're no longer carrying it alone. Peace begins to show up without being forced. Joy starts to return without being chased. Strength becomes available without constant strain. It's not instant, it's not dramatic, but it's real. Like a branch reconnected to the vine, life starts flowing again. So if you've been feeling empty, drained, disconnected, don't ignore it. Don't bury it under more effort. See it for what it is, an invitation. Not to do more, but to reconnect. Because everything you've been trying to produce on your own, peace, strength, clarity, purpose,